The whisper in the first station floated in silence, far above a dead star. Its orbit was slow, its lights weak, and its walls carried the sound of age. Every creak in the metal felt alive. As if something inside was moving, Captain Ross stood by the docking bay, looking at the long hallway that stretched like a throat into the station. He had seen many outposts before, but this one felt wrong from the start. The air smelled strange, not of oil and wires, but like ashes after fire. He felt his skin cold. Though the temperature gauge said normal, Ross was sent as an engineer, but his orders were more than repair. Command had warned him about strange malfunctions, power loss, and signals that were not human. They never said what caused it, only that he must check and report. Still, the silence in the command channel told him there was more, something they did not want to write in words. As he walked deeper, the lights flickered above his head. His boots echoed on the metal floor. But sometimes he thought he heard a second step, softer, slower, behind him. When he turned, nothing was there, only shadows. He shook his head and kept walking, telling himself it was just the old station playing tricks. Then he saw her. She was sitting at the end of a long corridor, close to a wall where broken wires sparked. At first, he thought she was human, a survivor left behind. Her hair was dark, her skin pale, and her eyes followed him without blinking. But there was something wrong, something still in her face, like a mask that remembered how to move, but chose not to. Ross stopped, his voice low. "Are you injured?" She tilted her head, and for a moment, she looked almost surprised that someone had spoken to her. Then she whispered, words soft and broken. "I'm not clean." The sound of those 3 words made the air feel heavier. Ross frowned, trying to understand. "Not clean? Do you mean infection? Are you sick?" She shook her head slowly, her hands pulling the cloth tighter around her arms. It was no normal cloth, Ross noticed. The fabric shimmered faintly like silver dust, wrapped carefully, layer upon layer. He could not see her skin under it. Her voice came again, weaker this time. "You should not stand near me, human. I am not safe." Ross felt a chill climb up his spine, but he did not step back. Instead, he tried to look calm, even as his heartbeat grew louder in his ears. "I am here to repair this station," he said, his voice steady. "I need to know if you are part of the crew." Her eyes locked on him, sharp and dark. "I am not crew. I am not prisoner. I am warning," she said. The way she spoke made it sound less like words and more like a truth carved in stone. The walls around them groaned, metal bending slightly as if under pressure. The lights flickered once more, but this time Ross felt sure it was not from broken wires. It was as if the station itself reacted to her whisper. He stepped closer. Against his better judgment, the cloth around her arms moved slightly, and for a second, Ross thought he saw a glow beneath, a faint pulse of light, like something alive under her skin. His throat felt dry, but he forced his words out. "What happens if the cloth comes off?" Her lips trembled, and she whispered again, so soft that he almost could not hear. "Then the human heart stops." Ross froze. The words hit him like ice. She said it with no threat in her tone. No anger, only quiet certainty. It was not a warning of violence, but of nature, like saying fire burns or the void kills. He stared at her arms, the strange cloth shining faintly in the broken light. His mind wanted to believe she was mad, a victim of long isolation, a survivor speaking nonsense. But his instincts told him otherwise. The way the metal walls seemed to breathe, the way the shadows bent when she moved. It was not madness, it was something else. Russ took a step back, his breath sharp. She lowered her head, almost ashamed. "I told them I am not clean," she whispered. They did not listen, and now the station listens instead. A cold wind brushed across Russ's neck. Though no vent was open, the station groaned louder, and somewhere deep inside, something banged like a heartbeat in steel. Ross felt trapped between his duty and the fear growing inside his chest. Every part of him wanted to turn and run, to escape the station and leave her behind. But he knew he could not. Not until he understood. Not until he knew what she was. Her eyes lifted again, watching him with strange intensity, the kind of look that pierced past his uniform, past his orders, and into the raw human inside him. "You will see," she whispered, "and when you see, your heart will tell you if it can survive." Ross felt the air tighten, his chest heavy, his pulse wild, and in that moment, he knew one truth. The cloth would not stay forever, and when it fell, nothing would be the same. The hidden threat station was no longer silent. It breathed with strange sounds, soft hums that rose and fell like whispers inside the walls. Ross could not tell if it was machinery or something alive. The woman, Lyra, walked ahead of him, her steps light, her head always bowed as if the station itself was listening. Ross kept his distance, his eyes fixed on the cloth wrapped around her arms every time the dim light touched it. The fabric shimmered, showing shapes beneath that twisted and moved. Sometimes he thought he saw lines of fire, sometimes the outline of something that looked like ice, but when he blinked, the cloth was still silent. Hiding its truth. "Why are you here?" Ross asked, his voice low. Lyra stopped walking, her shoulders tense. "They locked me here," she said softly. "I am not crew. I am not prisoner. But they could not let me leave." Her words carried no anger, only the weight of truth. Ross's hands tightened on his tool case. Locked her here. By who? By command? By another species? He wanted answers, but every question felt dangerous, like pulling a thread that would unravel something too large to control. The station lights flickered, and the hallway ahead bent slightly. Ross blinked hard, thinking it was his vision. But no metal was shifting, bending like it was made of soft clay. The floor rippled once under their feet, then settled again. He gasped, but Lyra did not react. She only whispered, "It feels my breath." Ross's stomach twisted. "What feels your breath?" he asked. Her dark eyes turned toward him, and for the first time he saw fear in them. "Not a thing human, not a creature, not a god," she said, her voice trembling. "It is me. And not me. It is what I carry." Ross felt his skin crawl. He remembered her words in the corridor. "I'm not clean." Now, standing close, he realized it was not sickness she carried. It was something that changed reality itself. "Show me," he said, his voice firmer than he felt. Lyra shook her head, quickly, her cloth-wrapped arms pulling tighter against her chest. "No, if you see, you will not live." Ross stepped closer, his breath uneven. "Then why am I here? Why did command send me?" Her lips curved into something between sorrow and pity. "They send you because they do not understand what I am," she whispered, "and maybe because they believe you will see what others cannot." The walls around them began to hum, a deep vibration like the sound of a massive engine. But Ross knew it was not the station system. It came from her, from the glow beneath the cloth. The hum grew louder until the light shattered, leaving only the faint silver shine of her wrappings. For a moment, Ross thought he saw shapes moving behind the cloth vest, endless. Too big to belong inside a body. He stumbled back, his breath catching in his throat. "What is inside you?" he demanded, her eyes filled with a strange light. "Not human, not alien, something beyond." "The void tried to touch my people," she whispered. "They reached for its fire. And I was chosen to carry what it gave. But it is too heavy, too cruel. It kills everything that looks at it." Ross shivered, his heart racing. So this was not infection, not madness. This was something alive, something cosmic, locked inside her skin. And the cloth was the last wall between it and the universe. They reached the central chamber of the station. The place was wrecked, panels torn from the walls, lights burned black, and the air thick with heat. Yet at the center, the machinery was still running, powered by something not human-made. Strange markings glowed on the floor, circles of light, shifting like water. Ross knelt to study them, but his stomach turned as his eyes blurred. The symbols were moving inside his mind, crawling into thought like insects. He pulled back, panting. "What is this?" Lyra lowered her head, her voice almost breaking. This is where they made me stay, where the station holds me, where it feeds on me. Ross stared at her, realizing the truth. The station was alive because of her. Her presence parted, but at a price. It twisted reality around her, bending metal, breaking minds. She was the battery and the cage, both prisoner and key. He wanted to scream, but his voice caught in his throat. Her whisper came again, sharp and final. You asked what happens if the cloth falls, she said. Her eyes locked on him. Then the truth escapes. And only a human will know if his heart can stand. Ross's chest tightened, his pulse like thunder. For the first time, he understood. The station was not failing, it was warning. Every flicker, every groan, every shadow. It was not breaking. It was trying to hold back the storm inside her. And Ross knew one thing with terrible certainty. The cloth could not hold forever. And when it fell, the galaxy itself might tremble. The cloth false chamber trembled like a living heart. Pipes rattled. Steel groaned. And sparks rained from the broken ceiling. Ross stood frozen, staring at Lyra as the silver cloth on her arms began to glow brighter. It pulsed like it was breathing, each flash sending waves through the air, bending it like heat over fire. Lyra clutched her arms tightly, as if holding back the universe itself. Her eyes burned with fear and sorrow. It is breaking, she whispered, her voice shaking. The cloth cannot hold. It wants to escape. Ross's chest tightened, his instincts screaming to run. But there was nowhere to go. The exits were sealed by the shifting metal, twisting into shapes no human hand could make. The station itself was folding around her power, and still, she stood there, trembling, as if carrying the weight of a star in her body. Then the first strip of cloth unraveled. It fell slowly, drifting through the air like ash. Underneath, Ross saw not flesh but light, endless, deep, and alive. The sight pierced into his mind, a billion sparks of thought burning at once. The crew monitoring from afar screamed through the comms, their voices breaking, then falling silent, one by one. Their signals died. Ross staggered, but did not fall. His vision blurred, his chest hammered like a drum. He felt pain, sharp and deep. But he did not collapse. Instead, his body shook and held, his mind screaming but standing. He was still alive, human, and alive. Lyra stared at him in shock, tears forming in her glowing eyes. You are not falling, she whispered. No other species can look at me and live. But you stand. Her words were not a curse, but wonder, as if she had seen the impossible. More cloth slipped away. Now her arms shone with raw cosmic fire. Rivers of living energy that bent the chamber around them. Walls stretched and curved. The floor rippled like liquid. Ross felt the weight of infinity pressing on him. Every instinct begged him to close his eyes, to surrender. But something inside him, something stubborn and human, refused. His voice cracked but steady. Maybe this is why I was sent, he said. Not to fix machines, not to report, but to see you and not break. Her glow trembled, like a flame uncertain. You do not understand, she whispered. This is not power. It is death. It is hunger. It kills without will. Ross stepped closer, his boots sinking slightly into the bending floor. His fear was real, sharp as a knife, but his resolve was stronger. Then let me carry it with you, he said, because if humans can survive this, then maybe we are meant to. The last piece of cloth fell, light burst outward like a star exploding. The entire station shuddered, alarms blaring, steel shrieking as it tore apart. Voices across the galaxy would later call it the bright wound, a light seen even from distant colonies. But inside, Ross stood before her, eyes burning but unbroken. The power washed over him, tearing at his bones, clawing at his mind, yet he still lived, his heart racing, refusing to stop. And in that moment, the truth became clear. The void had given her a curse, but humanity turned it into survival. What shattered other species only forged humans stronger. Lyra fell to her knees, the glow dimming round her as if feeding into him. Her voice broke into a whisper filled with awe. "You are not clean either," she said. "You are something the void cannot kill." Ross reached out, his hand steady despite the fire around them. He lifted her gently, holding her in the storm, and for the first time, her power did not twist or destroy. It bent to his will, calming. Like a beast tamed, outside, the station was tearing apart. But inside, a new alliance was born. Not of fear, not of chains, but of something older. The truth of humanity. When the universe burns, humans do not kneel, they endure. As the chamber collapsed around them, Ross whispered the words that would echo across history. "Then let the galaxy fear us, because now we are not alone." And when the station vanished into light, the last thing seen was a human standing unbroken beside the unclean one. Not victim, not prisoner, but partner. Together, something new, something the stars had never seen before.